Welcome back everybody to another episode of Kind Inside the Treatment Room. Today we're talking to Emma, who is the founder of Kind Sunscreen. First off, I must say I love your name. How did you come up with that?
Yes, we're very aligned on that one. Interestingly, I'd had the idea of the sunscreen and I had gone to Bali with my little boy and there was a sign that said Kind something, and I went back to my designer and I was working with them really closely, and I said, what about Kind Sunscreen? And they're like, yeah, we like that, let me come back to you. And then they came back literally 5 minutes later and went, we reckon the Kind Sunscreen.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Okay. And where does it resonate with you in any particular way? Like, why did you choose that word?
Well, I believe in kindness. Yes. I think it's so important in this world.
Definitely.
I think it's lacking.
We don't have enough of it.
No. I'm all about being genuine and empathetic and just kind to people. Yeah. And the world, actually, and the environment. So that was another part of when I launched. It was reef and ocean friendly was one of the main goals of the sunscreen formula. And so, yeah, it was about being kind to people and the planet.
And the environment. Love it. Okay. So elaborate for us. Tell us a little bit about the journey that came to be Kind Sunscreen.
I have always been interested in wellness. I had a Pilates and yoga and spin massage studio beforehand.
Nice.
Yeah. And I've always been interested in ingredients. So I generally have eaten with minimal ingredients in everything. Sauces, all those things that you buy at the supermarket. I've always checked ingredients. I had my son and all of a sudden his skin and what I was going to put on it became
number one priority, right?
Absolutely, so important. And I had never liked sunscreen, never wore sunscreen, I hate to say it, growing up in Queensland.
None of us did.
No.
We were told to lather ourselves up with baby oil, reef oil, or something that just burnt us to the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. And so then I went down the journey of finding a natural sunscreen, and they had the white cast and they had the tints that were terrible, and well, not terrible, I shouldn't say that.
But they were. Let's be real. Like, it's not the way that sunscreens evolve now. We would never have had that back in the day.
No, exactly. So the whole idea came one day when I was living in Toowoomba, which is a little country town, and we were going to the Gold Coast on weekends and staying in hotels, and I thought, why don't they have shampoo, the little shampoos and conditioners?
Yeah.
Why don't they have a little bottle of sunscreen?
Ooh.
I always leave mine behind. I don't want to buy any more because there's 5 tubes of it under the sink.
Yeah.
And so a friend of mine was setting up a hotel at the time, and I messaged her and I said, I've had this idea. What do you think? And she goes, that is a great idea. Go and research it.
It is, yeah.
So that's actually how my journey into sunscreen began.
Yeah.
And then I started ringing laboratories and researching and trying to find one with minimal ingredients. That was my most important probably requirement. One that was safe for babies because my boy was 8 months old at this point. And reef and ocean friendly because Hawaii had just started to ban chemical sunscreens in their waterways.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's how the journey began.
Beautiful. Oh, I love that for you. And he's 8 now.
8 on Friday.
Yeah. So you've come a very long way with
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
5.5 years now in business. I'm just sort of shocked.
It goes so quickly.
So quickly.
And you're in a lot of salons, you're in a lot of retail stores, you're international.
Yeah. One thing I never would have imagined when I launched was the amount of businesses that came to stock the sunscreen. It was bookstores, it was gift stores, it was fashion stores, hotels, skin clinics, plastic surgeons. It was just unbelievable.
The bookstores I find to be interesting. I wouldn't think of going to a bookstore to find
sunscreen.
SPF.
But I think it was more of a little gift.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Especially that 50 ml size, which was originally I chose that size because in the hotels they sell them in the mini bars.
Beautiful. That's so good. I have never actually come across that in a hotel yet. That's amazing.
No, I've got the Carlisle Hotel, which is a beautiful hotel in Brisbane, and this beautiful hotel called House at Lizard up on Lizard Island. It's stunning.
And that's what you need. Like when you're on holidays, a lot of the time you do forget sunscreen. So it's good to have one that's just not a cheap chemical-based sunscreen.
Yes.
And I want to talk about that. So there's a lot of misconceptions about sunscreen, and we'll quickly do a brief little rundown for everyone at home. When we're talking about sun protection, you've got your physical blockers, which is your zinc, titanium dioxide, and then you've got your chemical blockers, okay? So they work a lot differently within the skin. The chemical blockers, the UV radiation still goes into the epidermis and it diffuses, and all that heat is actually diffused within the skin. So when you've got sensitized skin, you've got rosacea, you've got little babies, all of those types of skin, they react so badly to it, okay? Not to mention a lot of those chemicals aren't good for our endocrine system either. They're so bad for our hormones. The zinc is a physical blocker. So that UV radiation which really bounces off of the skin, so that is why when we're talking about SPF protection with our skin, zinc is vital. Like it has to be that top ingredient is zinc. Don't you agree?
Yes, definitely. For sensitive skins, for baby skins, it's the most kind ingredient you can use in sunscreen.
100%. So when we talk about zinc, there's nano and there's non-nano, which basically refers to the molecular size of the zinc. And a lot of people are getting confused. I feel so sorry for the general public because the misconceptions that are out there, it's just, I can see why they do get so confused. You've got particular ingredient apps, which I'm not going to name, and I've reached out to them about this as well. They flag zinc ingredients and zinc products because it could particularly be nano zinc, but on the bottle it specifically states that it's non-nano.
That's right. So we were on one app, 100 out of 100, but that has just changed, given it's now 93 out of 100.
But nothing's changed.
Nothing has
it's
changed.
Just that
no,
misconception.
It's non-nano that we
put
use.
The wrong information up there.
Yeah. So it's all about the particle size, and so once it's larger than 100, it doesn't absorb into the skin. And actually, that also includes the oceans and the reefs.
Yes.
So that's why non-nano is more important to check
100%.
when you are buying zinc-based sunscreen.
So talk to us a little bit more about the nano and the non-nano. So how would you formulate a non-nano zinc? What's the difference?
So you have to work with the laboratories. TGA is extremely strict in Australia. You cannot do anything in any lab other than TGA registered labs, and you must work with formulators. So you have to specify with the formulator that you want them to use non-nano particles in your ingredient list. As far as the way that they do it from there,
That's
way beyond my expertise. Exactly.
Oh, I love it. Okay. When you mentioned the TGA, now this episode isn't going to be purely about all the bad negative things about zinc at the moment. We just want to clarify a few things because there are a lot of misconceptions about zinc and SPF. So we will get to all the good things about what we recommend for you to use and just try and dull down a bit of the hysteria and the hype that's out there. That's what we're trying to do today. But there are a lot of brands that have been pulled from the shelf because there's been testing with them and the TGA's found that they're not specifically the SPF rating that they stated on the bottles.
We're not meeting that.
No.
Yeah.
So how does Kind Sunscreen ensure that they've met those TGA recommendations?
So it is part of the TGA requirements that your sunscreen obviously gets tested, and that was more of a laboratory thing than the TGA.
Okay.
So we have not been recalled, and we have done a retest just to ensure that we are meeting our SPF 30 claim. Look, it's a really tricky.
It's a tricky predicament. I think a lot of businesses find themselves in.
Yes, because there's so many elements to it. You know, you've got your testing facility, you've got your laboratory. I think there's not one person you can blame in regards to this, or one brand or anything like that. It's just it's a matter of following the requirements and really just being checking your quality.
Well, it is. It's basically making sure that you've got the right educated people within those labs and that there's literally each step is followed and double checked.
Yes.
So when the product does come onto the market, we know that it has been checked and everything's been followed lips.
Yeah, it's exactly. Yeah, it's compliant to all the steps and standards required, and TGA is one of the most strict in the world. So we are, we're very lucky that they care so much about sunscreen, and we can't take that away from them because I think TGA has come under fire from a lot of brands.
I don't think it's that they're doing anything wrong. I mean, it's great, as you said, that they are there because we need that that body protecting.
Yeah. Well, it's considered a medicine. I mean, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but sunscreen is considered a medicine by the TGA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
no,
because it protects you. Well, it's part of the protection system against skin cancer.
Yeah.
So that's also why they're so strict on it. Yeah. So they're making sure that our skin is, protected.
The way that it's being marketed.
Yes, and claimed. And as you said, there's so much misconception out there and confusion. Since I launched the Kind Sunscreen, the sunscreen space has not only exploded with so many different brands, but just so much information. It's so contradictory. It's really hard for a consumer who's always thought of it as a grudge item you purchase at the supermarket at the cheapest price to really know which way to go.
Yeah, and a lot of the times, I'm not saying that they're all bad out there, but a lot of the brands within the grocery space, within the pharmacy space, aren't zinc based either. So you've really got to read the label and make sure that you know what you're purchasing.
A lot of them also, if you talk about ingredients, the average sunscreen has about 20 ingredients.
Right, it's a lot.
It's a lot. And water is sometimes the most, the ingredients list, water is first, so therefore it's the most.
Yeah.
That's often to cheapen the formula.
Yes.
So when you are reading your sunscreen label, look for those things. It will help you establish what kind of formula and ingredients and effort have gone into the formulation. Sometimes I wonder if I talk too casually.
No, that's what people like.
Okay.
I find that there's some audience members out there who really like people to get really scientific, but the general consensus of consumers out there, that's the way that they understand it.
Yeah, okay.
You're losing. So the way that you're explaining it, like you're just explaining it to someone who's got no idea, is great.
Okay, great.
Zinc it can be formulated to be very thick and heavy. It's also an ingredient that can be used a lot in acne products because it does tend to dry the skin out. So there's a lot of ingredients that are then put into the SPF to help reduce the white casting and just make it spread a little bit better on the skin. But Kind Sunscreen doesn't have that white cast, and it's not tinted. So what did you do? Show your magic.
Well, again, thank you to my gorgeous formulator who has all this knowledge. Just worked really closely with them and said, this is what I'm looking for. I want this minimal ingredients. I want it to be an oil-based sunscreen so that it removes water. And this is a good opportunity to talk about SPF 30 versus SPF 50.
Yes, please.
Because a lot of people still, and I understand, they say, why are you only in SPF 30 and not an SPF 50? So obviously from SPF 30 to 50, you need to add more zinc to make the rating higher. When I was testing the formula, I realised that the SPF 30 was going to rub in clearer than the SPF 50. And so I started researching what's the difference.
What is the difference?
Yeah. And the difference is about 1%. So 97% for SPF 30, 98% for SPF 50.
Exactly.
So I did go back and forth for a long time trying to justify doing an SPF 30 in my head, where I knew that people would only ever reach for an SPF 50 because that's what they'd been told to. But the other thing I think with SPF 50 is that people set and forget. So they put it on in the morning, they think it's SPF 50 and that they're going to be covered the whole entire day. And it's just not true.
But you're not going to get that even with an SPF 30. You do need to reapply.
Definitely.
And the UV index depends on how often you need to reapply.
Yeah. But also you've got your sweat, you've got your T-shirts, your jumpers, whatever that rubs it off as the day goes on. So it's really important to reapply. And I feel like people with an SPF 30 might be more inclined to, just given that they think it's a less number.
There's really, as you said, there's not much
It's
difference
so
in it.
minimal.
And we are taught about it in the beauty world as well, because we do get that question, what's the difference between 30 and 50? I think that, looking at the labels, you're like, that's a big jump in SPF, right? That must do a whole lot more. It doesn't.
No.
As you said, it's only a 1% difference more that it protects you. So SPF 30 is still great, and I do highly recommend it. Sometimes I find it's even a lot easier to use on skins because, as you said, there's not as much zinc on there, so it doesn't clog you out, doesn't make you feel very heavy. You don't need to use a lot of occlusives like coconut oil to make it spread a lot easier on the skin.
Exactly.
Reapplication is a really important part with SPF. We're based in Queensland, you and I, so we both know our UV factors that we get in Queensland are so high. It is the highest state in Australia of melanomas because of our UV index, right? It's so high. If you chuck on an SPF, whether it's 30 or 50, and you think that's going to protect you for the whole day, unfortunately,
You're delusional.
sadly mistaken.
Yes.
The
Yes.
misconception there that we don't agree with. Look, I know specifically in summertime, spring, summertime, you need to reapply at least every 30 to 40 minutes, and then that can increase if you're going swimming, if you're sweating, things like that.
Playing sport.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's February, end of February now for us. The amount of people that I've seen come in, they're like, I'm so sorry, I've been sunburned, but I've used SPF, I wore a hat, I don't know what happened. They don't reapply.
Yeah, yeah. It's and you know, there is so much truth to staying out of the sun the hottest part of the day, wearing your sunglasses, your hat, your shirt, trying to stay in the shade. All those things are all part of sun protection. Sunscreen's never going to be the only
The
answer.
only protection, exactly. Yeah. So I do find that reapplying is extremely important. If it is winter, every hour or so is completely fine. But as soon as that index rating goes up, I think it's like past 10. Forgive me if I'm wrong there. It is every 30 to 40 minutes you have to reapply.
Yeah, it's just, it's like anything, you know. You're active during the day, it rubs off, it sweats off, it.
Does all the things,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And a lot of people say to me as well that they're not really out in the sun. They think to be out in the sun, they've got to go for a swim, they've got to go for a long walk, they've got to do a physical activity or something outside, right?
I'll be at the beach for 5
Be on the
hours.
beach, something like that.
It's the incidental.
Yes.
Getting in the car, doing the school run, all of those things.
And that's where I say to people, that drive to work, that drive to school, wherever it is that you're going, that walking from your car to the next space, the checking the mail, the putting the bins out, it all, hanging out the washing,
Yeah.
this goes on.
Yes.
It all accumulates, and all it needs to accumulate to is 15 minutes in the sun throughout that whole day, and you burnt yourself.
Yeah. And cause damage to the skin.
Exactly. And when we talk about reapplying, it's quite hard when you do have a liquid type of SPF. If you do have a full face of makeup on, say you're going out for an event, or even you're just going out for work or running errands, and you've got that makeup on, it is a little bit hard to pop the liquid on over the makeup. So ways that you can get around that is, there's a lot of mineral powder makeups that have SPF in them. They have the zinc, they have the titanium dioxide already in them. There are a couple of other SPF specific brushes, and they have the powder form in there that you can just apply and dust over the face if you do have like a liquid or a powder makeup on. So you can always reapply your SPF. It doesn't always have to be a liquid form. Okay, that might be something that kind of get into, you know, that powder form.
Yeah.
Or honestly, even sunscreen that's designed for acne type skins, or those skins that don't like the heavy oils or like the thickness of a zinc.
Yeah, yeah.
That would be amazing. Would you think about doing something like that?
Yeah. I'm open to products.
Yeah.
I really, you know, you've got Mother SPF, you've got avocado zinc, they've all got the beauty stuff, the girl stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And so I would like to stay as much, so just as neutral and as for the family. I really, that's
your focus.
That's my
You
focus.
just have to get into every aspect.
Yeah.
SPF.
Plenty of SPF.
I love that. How can we take the knowledge that we know and bring out a really great product?
Yeah, exactly.
We need good quality products. That's what we need.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be this huge range.
No.
I mean, I want to increase the Kind Sunscreen range because I think it needs more presence in store. But
Once you find
strategic
the right,
about it.
do it strategically, do it well. And I know that you will because, as I said, Kind's been around for so long and so many brands and businesses trust it.
What was that? That's lovely.
That's the Josh Rosebrook Hydration Accelerator
Mm.
Mist. It's phenomenal.
It smells so
so
nice.
good.
Yeah.
It's good to use it. They've got a small one that you can pop in your handbag and you can spray
Oh,
it on
cool.
throughout the day.
Yep.
It's really, yeah, perfect. So when we're talking about SPF and sunscreen, we don't necessarily apply it to every inch of our body every single day. A lot of the time we're just applying it to our face, neck, chest, hands, all those areas that are exposed to the sun. A lot of people that I've heard, not a lot of people, there's a few people out there that have said to me, I'm not using a zinc or a sunscreen because I'm vitamin D deficient. I really want to elaborate on that and just try and educate people how SPF and vitamin D deficiencies sort of correlate. To each other. Yeah.
I think there's a big, I mean, it seems like I was going to say I agree with you. There are a lot of people now saying I'm vitamin D deficient. And we are, I think, based on probably the fear mongering around the sun.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody or any of the sunscreen brands actually talk about the benefits of the sun. So we don't need to fear it. We just need to be smart about it. So with vitamin D, you will get incidental sun, obviously, because of just, when you haven't reapplied, you get sun, you're in and out of cars and all that sort of thing. But it is probably something that you should deal with more with your diet and supplements than trying to rely on the sun.
Yes.
For that.
And I think there's a lot of things when we talk about vitamin deficiency, whether it's vitamin D, B, whatever it may be, there are other foods that we eat, other power players in the mix there that either help or really stop the absorption rate of vitamin D. So whether we're absorbing that from our diet or getting it supplementally, things like zinc and magnesium. If you're deficient in zinc and magnesium, you're not going to be able to absorb that vitamin D from your diet.
Yes.
Things if you don't eat it with fat-soluble food, and if you've got liver and kidney issues, all of these factors...
They're all contribute.
They contribute, yeah. A lot of people don't look at the liver as an issue, and in this day and age with a lot of food preservatives, chemicals within our mix, our liver is running overtime, It's... The poor little guy's just struggling.
Overdrive.
And then we look at these things like, I'm vitamin deficient, vitamin D deficient, look at all these other things instead of looking internally.
I think we do that so often. We don't look internally, and so much of it comes... I mean, the skin is our biggest organ, but there is so many things that we can do on the inside.
Yeah, there's so many things happening internally. Now, from a skin therapist point of view, the reason why I harp on so much about zinc being so important, and I say it to my clients all the time, you can have the best products, the best retinols, the best peptides. If you're not using a zinc SPF, all of those ingredients necessarily aren't going to matter. You'll see a slight change for sure, but you've got that UV radiation that's coming in and destroying all the hard work that you've worked so hard for. So when we talk about zinc, it's protecting us against UV radiation, right? You've got the UV radiation that comes from the sun, which is your UVA rays and your UVB rays. Your UVA rays is for aging, okay? That gets down into our dermal layers where all of our collagen, our elastin, and our hyaluronic acid sit. And then the UVB rays is our burning rays. That goes into the epidermis where our melanocytes are active, and that's when we get our pigmentation from it. So when you're thinking about UV damage, it's not just the pigmentation that's on top. You're like, oh, I didn't burn or I didn't freckle. That's not necessarily all the cause. You've got things happening beneath the surface, and I want to talk about that a little bit more so people have a better understanding of it, if that's okay with you. Yeah, I'm just going to let you sit here and enjoy this nice massage while I do this.
You're right, and mine just goes fine
for it. So you've got different ingredients, I guess, in your skin. You've got different enzymes You've got trillions of different cells, and they're all doing their own different things. Okay, you've got, as I mentioned, melanocytes. They stimulate or they produce your pigmentation. You've got tyrosinase, which is an enzyme that affects how your melanocytes work. You've got enzymes that break down collagen and elastin. And when you've got UV radiation happening within the skin, and it only needs to be that 30 minutes a day, that's breaking down all of the collagen and your elastin. It's stimulating your melanocytes to produce more melanin, and it's damaging your skin on such a cellular level that we don't understand. You've got people with acne scarring as well. When you've got scar tissue that's formed on the skin, it's more susceptible to UV radiation. So you'll start to find around the area it can pigment a lot easier, and it's a lot harder to treat the skin then because you've got all your collagen and elastin around it that's just been degenerated, okay? Not to mention your transepidermal water loss, all of the things. So when we're talking about zinc, we're not just talking about the zinc ingredient itself. To make up an SPF that sits nicely on the skin and does what it's meant to do, it's important to have other ingredients in there, right? So with Kind, you said there's only 9 ingredients.
Actually, sorry, so it's 10 now.
Oh, it's 10?
Yes.
What's the little added extra?
Yes. Castor oil. So we've added that into that.
I'm a big fan of castor oil.
Yes, yes. Yeah. So it is actually, I think it's a more pleasant experience to put on the skin. I think it disperses and rubs in better now.
Well,
So we just updated it. I shouldn't say we changed it, we updated it.
Yeah. Castor oil, it's non-chromogenic. So it's not going to make your skin
exactly.
break
It's
out,
not going to clog.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for those people that do break out, they've got acne, castor oil is a really good ingredient to have in your SPF because it's going to make it glide. I'm assuming that's why you've got to use it, and it's not going to make people break out. What are your thoughts on having extra ingredients in an SPF, like your niacinamide, your hyaluronic acid, peptides, all these other things that aren't necessarily going to penetrate the skin because the zinc and the oils are already made up most of the...
So for me, I guess when I decided to do the sunscreen, you have all the products, you know, you're using them at nighttime. I felt like it was just an added extra that was probably unnecessary. People have their niacinamide that they put on at night, the hyaluronic acid, you know, their night creams, their eye creams. So many creams.
Yes.
I wanted it to just be very simple and clean and for the whole family to use. So
So you kept it simple?
Kept it simple, yeah. I guess that's what it boils down to. It's a sunscreen. It helps protect you from the sun.
Because that's the whole ethos to Kind as well. It's being able to use it on every single type of skin type there is out there because it has minimal ingredients in it and it's not flooded with things that can cause and do irritate some people's skins. You know, there's a lot of people out there who react to essential oils or botanical fragrances.
Yeah.
So it's great that you've kept it simple. Thank you.
And for the family. So we're really family focused. We want it to be used for everybody, and probably children don't need niacinamide.
No.
Hyaluronic acid. Just yet, anyway.
Their skin's all plumped out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, if I could have the skin of my little baby.
Oh, I know.
I would love to have plump skin like that.
Yeah.
That's incredible. How's your skin feeling?
Yeah, lovely.
All right, Emma, we're just finishing up your facial now. We've just applied a layer of Kind Sunscreen because you're going to be popping out for a nice little swim after this.
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate you coming on. I love when brands come in and they talk more about the product because it gets the information out there, but it also gets the information out there about zinc. And I really think it was such an important conversation to have. Just delve into those misconceptions, break them down, and give people the correct information, don't you think?
Especially at the moment.
Yes.
There's so many people wondering how they keep their skin safe from the sun with everything that's been going on.
So thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you. I mean, it's been delightful. I will come in any time.
Yeah. Once you experience a proper facial though, when there's no lights and cameras in your face and I can give you a full-on massage, you'll just be sent to a whole other dimension. It's a little bit different when we're filming.